Down with this oppressor!
Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong! I just want to send my message out there that we have to liberate Hong Kong, let them be free of the Chinese oppression, and yeah.
光復香港時代革命 He need to do more, especially now, not just Hong Kong people suffering. We see 2 Canadian citizens in the hand of CCP. So I think he need to do more for not just for Hong Kong, but for Canada as well.
Keean Bexte for Rebel News, standing on a street corner in Calgary, Alberta. But this isn't just any street corner. This is actually the corner where the consulate for the People's Republic of China is located, and it is where a bunch of Hong Kong Canadians have gathered here on this Sunday afternoon to protest the oppressive regime, the oppressive Beijing regime, and their treatment of the people of Hong Kong. This protest comes just a few days after Apple Daily, a major news media outlet in Hong Kong, was actually raided by the police, and their founder and owner was actually arrested that same day. Hong Kong is rapidly collapsing. Since even I've been there last year, when reporters were allowed to be on the streets doing their job, it's not the same Hong Kong as it was 5 years ago. It's not the same Hong Kong as it was even 5 months ago. And the people here are protesting exactly that, that the freedoms that Hong Kong used to enjoy don't exist anymore. The people, they say, need to be liberated. Let's chat with a few of them to see what they have to say.
The movement has been going on for over years, but yeah, we hate to see CCP is deteriorating Hong Kong's freedom and democracy over the past year and a half. So, as a Canadian, also a Hong Kong people, we have the freedom in Canada, so we want to step out and fight for Hong Kong.
Since there's so much of a leftist socialist uprising in the U.S., they should just trade those protesters for the Hong Kong protesters.
So as a Canadian, someone who's lived in Hong Kong, you probably have an interesting opinion on this. Do you think that Justin Trudeau and the Canadian government is doing everything they can to help the people of Hong Kong?
Absolutely not. I think there could be a lot more done by the Canadian government. In fact, being a Canadian, I feel a bit shameful about the lack of response from the Canadian government. You see Britain, you see America, even places like Australia, standing up and publicly speaking out about the actions in Hong Kong. And I would really like to see the Canadian government do a lot more.
It's the unfairness towards the Hong Kongers that the Hong Kong government do to them. It's just they want them to not to speak out and even close out the media and just go in the media and take away their data. And this really wound the Hong Kongers' freedom of speech. So we come out today to speak out.
Is Justin Trudeau doing enough to help the people of Hong Kong?
No, he's just catering to the Chinese government right now, for sure.
What's the benefit of that, and what could he be doing instead?
There is no benefit for him to cater to the Communist Party.
Do you think that the media in Canada sort of has shared the plight of the people of Hong Kong fairly?
I would say it depends, but I hope to see more and also speak a little bit more for the Hong Kong people and don't stand too much on the CCP side. You can tell the government now is quite pro-China because for the economic reason. Yeah.
You mean the Canadian government?
Correct.
光復香港時代革命
Would I be able to ask you what brings you out here today?
Because of the suppression of freedom of the press in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And this is a big thing,
Yeah.
Actually, the press are the fourth official government party,
Did you hear what happened? I'm sure you did, to Apple Daily in Hong Kong.
They raided the Apple Daily newspaper and charged a couple of senior people.
What could he be doing instead? What would you want him to do?
Step down as Prime Minister. Down with this oppressor.
Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong!
When do you think Canada and the rest of the world should start stepping in?
Canada should step in not right now.
Why do you think they're not?
Maybe because Trudeau, he is a little bit pro-communist.
I mean, he need to do more, especially now, not just Hong Kong people suffering. We see 2 Canadian citizens in the hand of CCP. So I think he need to do more for not just for Hong Kong, but for Canada as well.
I just want to send my message out there that we have to liberate Hong Kong, let them be free of the Chinese oppression. And yeah.
There's a lot of cars honking in support. Do you think that the people here in Calgary sort of understand your message, or do you think it's sort of being lost in the mainstream media?
Oh yeah, there's definitely huge media censorship for sure. The messages, a clear message isn't being sent. The truth isn't being put out there for sure.
Is that the media in Hong Kong, or is that the media in Canada that's not doing their job?
I think it's the whole. It's media everywhere. It's sort of a centralized globalist like control. So.
Now it's very interesting. The same protest songs and chants that I was hearing on the ground in Hong Kong are the same songs and chants they're using here in Calgary, Alberta. It's really a global movement to save the people of Hong Kong as their freedoms are rapidly collapsing. You can hear it right now, probably. Do you hear the people sing "Glory to Hong Kong"? Guang Fu Kung Gong, Si Doi Gat Ming, these same phrases, same chants. These people, regardless of where they are, whether they're in Hong Kong or whether they're in Calgary, Alberta, they miss the old Hong Kong. They miss the Hong Kong under the rule of the British Empire. Now, the signs and flags that we're seeing here today are quite varied. Not only is there the Taiwanese flag or the blue ensign, the old Hong Kong flag. That's probably my favorite flag in the world. It's with the crest with the dragon on it. It's a beautiful flag. There's also the Hong Kong protesters' version of the Hong Kong flag, the black one. But there's also signs, supporting democracy, calling for Carrie Lam to resign. And also calling on the release of Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor. Now, this saga that Hong Kong is experiencing, their plight for freedom and liberty, we're not sure how it is going to turn out. We're not sure if Justin Trudeau is finally going to stand up from his puppet masters in Beijing and actually support the people of Hong Kong. But there is one thing that we are absolutely sure of.
China is asshole.
If you want to check out all of our other Hong Kong related coverage, you can go to hongkongreports.com. There you can see all of my coverage of the raid of the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, all of the on-the-ground coverage of the elections when we were actually there. And if you want to support our ongoing coverage of Hong Kong, you can do it there at hongkongreports.com.